Ah, yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour.
Yes, it's my favorite show. I never miss this show. So somebody said what's the old joke where the guy says I drove by your house the other day, and a friend of mine told me that I drove by your house the other day. I said thank you. I was in no mood to talk to anybody. In fact, if you missed our show last time, then here's another chance for you to miss it again. My name is Kaye Lazar, and I'm the announcer. I'm the special guest star, and in fact, we're going to have a race later on. We're wheeling in the ATVs. I think that guy was waiting for us to start the show so we could put that on. It's Evel Knievel.
Now here comes a race car.
I saw a guy in a motorcycle. It was really cool. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen on a motorcycle. He had a helmet with a jack-o'-lantern on it. It was like, it was painted orange with and you can't see his face anyway.
Right.
So when he was driving on the motorcycle, he looked like the Headless Horseman.
Right.
from the famous story, Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And anyway, we are getting ready for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And I'm wearing this coat. I got it in Ireland, and it's really warm.
I love it.
I think it's made from a bolt of a sheep. I think it's a whole sheep was used in making this thing. It's very warm. It's not really cold today.
Right.
But I wore it because I knew I was going to be outside with you, and thus I.
But it's finally sunny outside.
Yeah, as long as it's sunny, things are all right. It's a little breezy.
Yeah.
But we'll be all right.
We'll manage.
Yeah. You know, I noticed something about when it's cold. When you're outside, you don't have to freeze your soda.
Right.
You could just drink a warm soda.
Yeah.
But it tastes just as cold.
Right. Exactly.
You don't notice that it's cold. That it's not cold. Well, when it's a hot day, you want a cold soda or something. So anyway, so I'm wearing the coat for St. Patrick's Day, and then I'm wearing the tie, which is a little remembrance of Valentine's Day.
Yes.
And then this shirt I think I told you I got this shirt. It's a gingham. And I got this shirt at a place, and they were selling them for like $1 each, and so and I don't understand. They were trying to get rid of all these shirts. There was something wrong with these shirts though, is that you couldn't they didn't have the size on them.
Right.
So you said, well, can I try these on? And they said no, because of the COVID-19, we can't allow you to wear to try stuff out. Like in a room.
Right.
So they said, but you could try them on here, and I had to put them on over my my sweatshirt and everything. That's no fun.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell how a shirt fits. So then I figured out that when you go to a place and they won't let you try on you can always try on the coats. You can't really try on the pants very well. You've got to just size them up. But the shirts, if you wear a t-shirt, because you got to wear a t-shirt under a shirt anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wore this because I wanted to impress you with the hearts and the gingham and the colors and the Irish for me. So that's how it all works. Now, so have let's see. Have you been? Let's see. We were talking about coffee the other day. Now, do you?
Yes.
Now, tell me what type of coffee you like, or what
I like any kind of coffee.
I drink a pot of coffee a day. Can you believe that?
Oh yeah.
I drink a pot of coffee a day. I don't drink anymore alcohol, so something's got to give, and I don't really like water.
Right.
Who likes water? Look, that's what I swim in. That's not what I drink. So anyway, I can tell you other things about water.
Right.
But anyway, also I don't know how they get water clean. I mean, you know how like they have a clean. You see the muddy water or the salty water in the ocean, or the muddy water in the river,
right?
And then they say, "Well, you're going to drink that later." I said, "Well, really? How do you get the mud out of water?"
Yeah.
You filter it, but how much filtering can you do?
Exactly.
I mean, you have to go through a lot of filtering before you get clear water.
Right.
I don't want to drink muddy water.
I know.
I don't want to drink out of a mud puddle. So anyway, so I don't. So I have to drink coffee all the time. All right, and coffee is a. So I wake up every morning in this awful pandemic, thinking that I'm going to. Today I catch COVID-19 and die, and so far I'm doing fine.
Right.
But this is the year that everyone has to be healthy, or you try to be healthy. Hopefully we're near the end of it all.
Yeah.
But so I drink a pot of coffee a day, and I'm not kidding you, a whole thing of coffee. I drink it, and get my work done, maybe go to work or something, drink it at work. Probably by 1 or 2 o'clock, I finished the pot, and because I'm kind of lazy drinking it, and but then by the end of the day, or by the end of the coffee thing, right. I said I feel better, and I said, oh, I don't have the disease, and then the next day it starts all over again.
Right. I hear that coffee helps you sometimes too.
I think. I'm glad you mentioned that, because you read things about health, good health, and everything.
Right.
So coffee, you will hear about coffee, and it'll say how. This is how you can drink coffee and lose weight. And I said, I got, because you always want to lose weight.
Yeah.
You always want to get in shape.
Right.
So I go, I go on the internet and say, you're typing other stuff, and then you say, this pops up, and so you say, I'm going to see what this is, and then you think it's just, they're going to sell you a type of coffee to make you lose weight, but it wasn't the case. Right. They actually, a doctor explained how you can lose weight drinking coffee, and they said, well, drink it black. I said, I drink it black already. I don't have to. I thought they were going to teach me something. When you hear a doctor, you think you're going to learn something, and I didn't learn anything.
Right.
And I'm the guy who wants to learn stuff.
Me too.
I know. I don't read stuff and say, I already know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they said that there's a lot of antioxidants in coffee, but you have to drink it black.
Yeah.
Once you put the sugar and milk and everything else in it, then you might as well be drinking a Mountain Dew or something, a Pepsi Cola.
I like a little flavor in it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. I never thought, like, everyone drinks at Starbucks and everything. I never got the idea that Starbucks was that great a deal, and I never thought their coffee was all that great. I mean, it's all right. It's not terrible, but it's it's not any different from other coffees. And we're talking the black coffee Starbucks. And they actually say the best black coffee you can get is at McDonald's, which is about $3
McDonald's
cheaper.
does have good coffee
now.
In
fact, they even sell it in the stores. McCoffee.
I got some McDonald's coffee at home, actually.
I'm having a McCaffeine fit.
It's called McCafe.
McCafe. Yeah. Well, until they send us a case of it, I'm not calling it by its name. So as a free advertisement, but I'm having a McHeadache. I'm having withdrawal symptoms. I need some coffee. I need your coffee. So anyway, I know that when I travel, sometimes I can't get Wi-Fi on my phone, and McDonald's has the coffee and the Wi-Fi, so that's usually where you get your coffee if you want. And then you can sit down and use their bathroom, especially in a place like New York or somewhere where it's very hard to find a bathroom.
Yeah.
And then, I never really thought Starbucks was all that great. And people pay like $7 for a coffee there, and it's not a black coffee is like not as much, but I mean they put in. But then I realized what they have in Starbucks coffee. They have like they have nuts and nutmeg and cream from the goat and and they have sugar from the most prized beet in Canada and stuff. I don't know what they have, but all that stuff they add into it. Oh, ice cream. They throw everything in there, butterscotch and everything. And of course, if you're going to put all that junk in anything, it's going to taste better.
Right.
It's going to make even Starbucks taste better.
Right.
So I used to, when you're a kid, you never drink coffee. I never drank coffee when I was a kid. Yeah, I was always told terrible things that I would never grow tall or anything. Well, guess what? It didn't work anyway because I didn't drink it and I didn't get tall.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing was whenever I would get some of my mom's coffee or something, it would have I would want a lot of sugar in it and a lot of milk in it. In other words, don't let it taste like coffee.
Right.
As you get older, you want coffee. It doesn't really matter how it tastes. You just want it's like alcohol. You just want the effect.
Right.
So you drink it for effect. That's why little kids aren't really coffee drinkers or wine drinkers. They are, but they'll drink sodas and things that are sweet, orange juice and stuff. So they might drink iced tea on a good day, but with a lot of sugar and lemon and milk or whatever they put in tea. So plenty of milk, plenty of sugar, and then I found out that I don't really like milk.
Wow.
I don't like cream. I'm lactose intolerant. So I have to. So then I started putting a lot of sugar to balance that out in the coffee.
Right.
And then I realized I was putting in a lot of sugar. Something like 4 or 5. Teaspoons of sugar.
Wow.
and that's too much sugar. When your body, if you take care of your body, I'm a bit of a health nut. If you take care of your body, like 5 or 6 spoonfuls of sugar is no good for you.
Right.
And if you're going to take that much sugar, you might as well enjoy it. But you don't really enjoy it in coffee because coffee is so bitter and so nasty taste that you have to put in a lot of sugar before you even taste a hint of sweetness. So I said, well, why am I putting my body, my pancreas and my liver and all this stuff? They don't want all this sugar in my body. Yeah. Waistline doesn't want it either. So I said, no more sugar. And you could probably better things like honey or probably these artificial sweeteners. I don't use any of them, but if you're going to use, so just like my dad says, I don't like this. I don't like it when you're a little kid. I don't like Brussels sprouts. I don't like stewed figs or something.
Yeah.
Well, and my dad would say, well, learn to like it because you're going to be eating this for a while. So I stopped putting sugar in my coffee, and I found out something about coffee is that if you drink it really fast, if it's hot, you can't drink it fast. But if it's like warm, or if it gets cold, or if you leave it overnight and you don't get a chance to heat it up, if you drink it really fast, like as if it were water, it tastes like water.
Yeah.
Even black coffee.
Right.
So you get the effects of coffee. Your body doesn't know whether the coffee is cold or hot. So it's better hot though.
Right.
So I used to have friends that said we got to go to Starbucks and get coffee. We got to go to Starbucks and get coffee.
Right.
So we would go to Starbucks, and I actually protested this because we would go to Starbucks, and I would get out of the car and say, "Hey, where are you going?" I said, we're going inside to get the coffee. And they said, no, we're going through the drive-thru. We don't have time to sit around and lollygag and drink this coffee. I said, listen, if I'm paying $7 for a cup of coffee, I'm going to sit and lollygag, and I'm going to be in a big chair, and I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm going to read the magazine. I'm going to have the free Wi-Fi. I'm going to listen to the music.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, the whole point of the $7 cup of coffee, which makes no sense at all, but if it makes any sense at all, is that you should enjoy it and sit around and put your feet up and enjoy. The idea of going through a drive-thru, gosh, you might as well just have them just dump they don't even put water in, just take a spoonful and have them throw it at you, you catch it in your mouth and drive off. Serves by They're going to charge you $7 for that. What is that all about?
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, you take these. Hey, you take these tests. Like I said, drink coffee. They said you'll lose weight. Drink black coffee, you'll lose weight. And I think, well, I don't think you could lose weight on it, but if you have a terrible diet in the first place and drink black coffee, it'll probably work out for you. You can't drink too much coffee because then you're just wired.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to drink coffee probably after 6 o'clock.
Right.
At 6 p.m. I mean.
Right.
6 in the morning is the best time.
Yeah, I love to drink coffee early in the morning. Now.
I used to be on the radio, and that's early in the morning.
Yes.
And I used to be on the radio early in the morning.
Yeah.
And where's the coffee? In fact, you don't even you didn't care where the records were. You just went right for the coffee. All right, now I can decide what I want to play. Dan Fogelberg.
Yes.
That's what everyone wants to hear.
I have some Dan Fogelberg.
You have some, that's a man-made famous from the radio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the FM radio.
Yes.
So we would so you read these articles in magazines, and it tells you how to stay fit and how to stay healthy, and that is so important.
Right.
Can you put your dog away? Yipping, he's yipping.
Aww.
That's a big dog actually. You don't see it, but it sounds like a little dog. But
I know. He sounds like my dog.
Yeah. There's your dog over there, right?
Yeah, the Pomeranian. That's the kind I have.
You have a Pomeranian?
Yeah.
Palmer. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't your dog had a birthday?
He'll have a birthday in May, but he's 10 months now.
10 months.
But two more months he'll be 1 year. 2 months in 2 months he'll be 1 year old.
1 year old.
So he'll have his first birthday on May the 4th.
Wow. And it's a boy dog?
Boy, yes.
And you have a whole bunch of dogs or just one?
Just one.
Just one dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to have 3 dogs, but they all passed away. So.
That's the way pets are, yeah.
Yeah, but...
You learn, I didn't grow up with pets, so... my mom and dad were not... I think they had pets when they were kids, and then they found that it was too much of a trouble. But what's kind of weird is there were so many people in my family, we didn't really miss pets.
I think
if you like don't have brothers and sisters, then you want all that other stuff, pets and everything. Donald Trump was the first president that didn't have any pets, which says a lot about him. Because usually people get pets, especially public figures, because they feel they look human with a dog or with a cat or something.
Yeah.
But they don't. But if you basically public figures without pets, like a politician, basically, or a king or something. So I don't care what the people think about.
I know.
Evidently, he didn't care. No.
I know you love Palmer.
Palmer, I love Palmer. I love all animals.
Yeah, me too.
I think I love all animals. I'm trying to think what I do. I don't really care for this dog over here. Trying to get in show business here, but I don't. Someone, is he locked in the car door? I think he's locked in the car.
Oh.
Somebody call the ASPCA. Anyway, so what happened was, I'll talk above the din.
Yes.
Anyway, I didn't have a pet growing up. I think we finally got hamsters when I was a kid, and then gerbils.
And you had a cat, didn't you? Didn't you have a cat?
My youngest sister, was big on cats, and so she didn't have any other little kids to play with. Once she came around, we all had little kids to play with in my family. So anyway, so that's what happened. We took care of. She had a cat, and we had a cat for a good while, like 20 years. I mean, different cats over the years.
I used to have cats too.
They used to run away from us. We would move, and then the cat never got used to the house and everything. Right. So, but my parents had animals before, and they said, in fact, to be honest with you, I hardly show any maturity now. So certainly then, in taking care of a dog or a cat, I showed even less. Now a lot of kids had dogs, and there were these kids I knew, the meanest kids, and they had these big dogs, and they would actually and they'd run after you and bite you, and they would laugh, and they thought it was funny, and I didn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
I would say, they'd say, "Oh, you're stop teasing him." I said, "Teasing him? I'm trying to get away from him. I don't want to be anywhere near him." I'm still sort of that way around dogs. Yeah. I think a lot of cat lovers are that way around. That's why they become cat lovers. Because cats usually don't run after you and chase you. They might scratch you here and there.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And so I'm not a so yeah, it's good to hear about your dog. It's a Pomeranian.
Yes.
Yeah, Palmer
Yes.
the Pomeranian. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So you read these articles about how to stay healthy and everything, and one of the things they always tell you to sleep more and don't smoke and everything, and eat, and then they sometimes give you a diet: eat fruits and vegetables, eat lean meats, eat cheeses, don't eat fast food, don't drink too much, and all this stuff. And when you're a teenager, you're reading that, they don't know what they're talking about. I can't do this, I can't do this, and then you become 40 years old and you read these things again. They don't really change a whole lot. And I read these things once I turned 40,
right.
And I said, oh, I do that. So you always listen to your body. Now, have you gotten your vaccination yet?
Not yet, but I'm working on getting one. So.
Yeah, so am I. I'm working on getting.
I want to get that Johnson & Johnson thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They also make the baby shampoo.
Yes.
So if they can keep the tears out of my eyes. I'm always crying every time I get a shot. I used to see kids in the doctor's office. They would be running around, and there's like when I was a kid, a pediatrician, and there would be the kid would and then there would the nurse would come or the mother would come and say, "Listen, if you don't start behaving yourself, I'm going to tell a doctor to give you a shot."
I think my mother used to do that to me too.
Yeah, I don't think it. I said, really? No wonder we don't like going to the doctor. Getting a shot?
Yeah.
But if it's to something health, when you grow up, you don't think of it when you're a kid. You think you're going to live forever when you're a kid. But getting a shot is a good thing, for the most part.
Right.
And then I used to hear the same thing when I was working in an amusement park. There would be a guard. It's basically just a teenage boy dressed in like a policeman's outfit or a guard's uniform, and the kid would be running around, and the mother would say, "If you don't behave yourself, I'm going to tell that policeman over there to arrest you." You wonder why kids have a fear of the police. That is why.
Yeah, you shouldn't scare kids like that,
Oh, my dad. Oh gosh, I remember my dad was trying to get my sister to sleep once. And he was bit by a dog not that long before, and he says, if you don't go to sleep, I'm going to get a dog that bit me to bite you. Oh gosh. So anyway, I said, "Why'd you say that?" And he said, "Hey, she won't get to sleep. I'm trying to figure out something to say to her to get her to sleep."
Yeah.
Same sister. We got her some fried chicken.
Yeah.
And she was eating. They cut up a piece of chicken for her, and she was eating it.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I want the skin." My dad says, "No, you can't have the skin. It's not good for you." He goes, "I want the skin," and she just kept. And she finished eating the chicken and goes, "I want." He goes, "You're not gonna get any skin. I told you it's full of fat. It's full of grease. It's not good for you. I am not going to give you the skin." And I'm just like already finished, and I'm like in the next room, and I'm just fed up with my sister yelling. And I said to Dad, "Will you please give her the skin and shut her up?" Because I can't give her the skin because I just ate it.
Oh, Lordy.
So I haven't gotten the vaccination either. I actually applied on the list. Hopefully by the time maybe a lot of you nice people see this, I will have gotten. They want to vaccinate everyone by the summer, which I think they shall. All these, the Johnson & Johnson and Moderna and Pfizer. Pfizer, they also make Viagra. I hope they don't put any Viagra in the shot.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a stiff arm. Also, and also Johnson and Johnson, with the acne cream and the baby shampoo and the lotion and the Band-Aids and all that stuff they make. Now they're curing us of COVID-19. But anyway, so anyway, I'm on the list, but I haven't gotten it yet because they said I'm too young and glamorous to get to get the shot.
Yeah.
You got to be old and decrepit and sick. You're too young and glamorous. I said, this is the only time being young and glamorous ever did not go in my favor. They had a skit the other night, I think on Saturday Night Live, where these young people were trying to get the shot, and they were wearing old lady wigs and canes and saying, "Hello, Sonny, I'm here for my shot." And then they'd play some Lawrence Welk music or something and say, no, do you have any, like, do you have Lady Gaga? Oh, you're too young. You're not old enough to take this shot yet. And so I'm hoping to get, I like to think we're at the end of this pandemic. People are getting better. In a few states, most of which
are
opening again.
That was quick.
One of them is Texas.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they declare themselves COVID-free, and they're now a maskless society.
Wow.
You don't have to wear a mask. The restaurants are full. You can go to big pool parties and breathe on people and everything, and hug and kiss and all that other stuff. Go to the movies. What a bunch of damned fools. Meaning that, not too long before this happened, like a week or so ago, they had snow and no and frozen pipes and no electricity, and their senator went to Cancun.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz went to Cancun and had and come back with his tail between his legs. I was just dropping off my daughters, but and these are, and you can't, and they had an independent electrical grid, and they were able, and they didn't want any government help. They got government help, but they didn't want it,
right.
And now they're saying, oh, now we're going, all is forgiven. We're going to take off our masks. We're going to make I said, listen, if you stay in Texas and Mississippi, that's fine. Just don't leave, because in your Darwinian thinning of the herd, those Texans think they know it all.
Right.
There's a lot of crazy thinking in Texas, and in a typical way,
right?
Even during different, similar times. And what happened was that, if you remember, a lot of people say, well, it's being run by a suicide cult. They're going to make you drink the Kool-Aid. Well, they don't have to drink the Kool-Aid, the cyanide Kool-Aid. They could just take off their mask if they want to kill themselves. Oh man. And so I'm looking forward to getting the shot. Have you stayed healthy in the last year or so?
I mostly stayed at home.
Stay at home.
Yes, and listened to music and all that stuff.
Meditating to music.
Yes.
Yes.
And focusing on God and all that stuff. Yes. Yeah.
And thinking of God will get you through a lot.
That's right.
Through bad times.
Yeah.
No atheists in foxholes, as they say. Now, but you did go out and got your hair cut.
Yes.
I did notice that.
Yes.
It looks very nice.
Thank you. I decided to get a new hairstyle.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah. See, you should have gotten the Wilma Flintstone look. Big bun and a dinosaur bone through it. My hair is a constant battle at my age. I'm constantly swirling it around and growing it long hair and flipping it over, growing it in the back and flipping it over. So I look like one of the Beatles. You try to look like one of the Beatles, you end up looking like one of the Three Stooges.
Right.
But so far it's not too bad.
Right.
Too bad. So I'm doing my best here.
Yeah.
So anyway, so like I said about being young and glamorous, I was thinking about the way people it's hard work becoming an adult.
Right.
You have to go through a lot of trouble.
Right.
And people would give you nicknames and stuff.
Yes.
And I thought nicknames. My mother named me Kevin, and because there was no nicknames to be made from Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Kev, but that's not so bad.
Yeah.
I call myself Kaye Lazar, so Kaye is like my initial, really. But did you ever had any nicknames growing up?
My grandfather, I used to help him with dinner.
Yeah.
He would call me, you know those TV trays that they had that they used to, have when you watch TV.
Yeah.
They said he used to call me Table Mabel.
Table.
Because I would, bring the table, fix on the table every time.
Oh.
After dinner started. So.
You mean the TV trays?
Yes, TV
and they would
trays.
put the dinner on
Yes,
it, and then
yes.
you'd watch TV or
Yes.
something. Oh, those were the great days.
Oh yeah.
I always felt that was like the best meals I had. That Swanson TV dinner with the mashed potatoes and the fried chicken. That was so good.
I like home cooked meals.
Well, yeah, you like home cooked meals when you grow up, but when you're a kid, the more processed and fast foodish and TV dinnerish.
Yeah, I used to
It
like
is.
those.
I mean,
meals
you know what I
too.
used to eat a lot when I was. I haven't had it in years. Is
Yeah.
Jello.
Yeah.
And what is Jello? Just a bunch of chemicals and food coloring.
Right. Yeah.
But it was so good.
I used to like kid cuisine.
What?
Kid cuisine.
Kid cuisine.
There was a TV dinner for kids
and,
back in the day.
Oh, okay. And what it was like chicken.
It had chicken
tenders.
chicken tenders, I think mashed potatoes, and some dessert that came with it or something.
Yeah, well, that sounds
Yeah,
good.
I used to love it when I was a kid, though.
Yeah, Table Mabel.
Yeah.
No, Table Mabel.
Yeah, Table Meal. He called me Table Meal because I would always he would always rely on me to bring the TV tray for dinner. So.
You gotta if you don't like the nickname, you almost gotta nip it in the bud with somebody if they start calling you that. And there's not an easy way to do it because sometimes if you complain, they know it bothers you, and then they'll just up the nicknames even worse. And I remember when I was working in construction, and they called me Shorty, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And then some nicknames are really bad, like Stinky.
Oh, that's even
I know that's the worst or something. But there's a guy I think in the Abbott and Costello, Joe Besser played a guy named Stinky.
Yeah.
Stinkeroo, short for Stinkeroo.
I think my mom and my grandfather used to both say that.
Yeah, Shorty.
Stinkaroo.
Stinkeroo, yeah. Or Stinkpot. There was a Shorty, so I didn't like Shorty. So then I knew I better not complain about this. Maybe it'll blow over.
Right.
But then it looked like it wasn't going to blow over that easily.
Right.
So then I decided not to answer.
Yeah.
Even if the boss called me that. And then they would say, Kevin, and and I'd turn around, So I always made sure my back was to them when they called me Shorty. So then when they said Kevin, I'd turn around. So anyway, but then they started another nickname. I had long, curly hair.
Yeah.
And so, like Larry of the Stooges, and they would say, or Harpo, more like Harpo, I guess.
Right.
They would say, "Hey Curly, hey Curly," and I knew I didn't like Shorty. Curly, I didn't mind so bad. So I would complain. I'd say, Curly, I'm not a Curly. Curly is a bald-headed guy. Hey, I have little curly hair. And they'd say, Curly, your name is Curly. Remember that, Curly. So I didn't. So I used these guys weren't Jeopardy contestants.
Yeah.
So it all worked out. I had, but I had Nick. It was crazy. I used to make films. I was a filmmaker before anyone was a filmmaker.
Right.
Super 8 films
Right.
in high school, and they thought I had I wear glasses and long hair all the time, so they thought he was in the news at the time, Roman Polanski, not notoriously, and so they would call me Polanski. I didn't really mind that, because he was a good director.
Yeah.
Human being, not so much, but
Yeah.
but director is good, so I didn't mind that so much. But then about when I got out of college years later, there was a guy in the news from Libya.
Oh yeah.
His name was Colonel Gaddafi,
Ah.
and with the curly hair, and now I looked exactly like Gaddafi, so they kept calling me Gaddafi. But I didn't really mind that. So Gaddafi kind of looked like a cool guy with the sunglasses and the curly hair and everything. As it turned out, he didn't end up very well.
Right.
They all rose against him and killed him in a terrible way. If you look it
Right.
up on the internet, how they killed him.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. Only like
Right.
about less than 10 years ago.
Right.
He was so these are nicknames you just gotta figure out a way not to keep them anymore.
Right.
Now, let's see. Now, you said you've been let's see. You've been listening to music and
Yes.
you've been listening to like the Beatles or the Monkees.
Oh yes, I have some Monkees and some Beatles and
Mm-hmm.
some also Jim Nabors.
Jim Nabors.
Yes.
Oh, Jim Nabors. Okay.
Yes.
Jim Nabors.
I bought a record by him at the thrift store for only 50 cents.
Jim Nabors. Oh, he's such a good singer, Jim Nabors. He died a couple of years ago. Jim Nabors. I could tell you a whole bunch of stuff about Jim Nabors. Oh, speaking of nicknames, that was one of my nicknames when I was working construction. Because I was always screwing up and everything, so they called me Gomer. I was I think 19 years old, but I looked like I was 14 years old. But in my mind, I was more like mentally 11 years old, especially with
Right.
these tough guys, with their cigars and their.
Right.
They used to drink every night after work at the bar. Probably I don't know, maybe 8 beers each or something.
Yeah.
And you see these guys in construction with their hard hats and their glasses and everything,
Right.
and then these
Right.
veins in their noses and pits,
Right.
pits in faces and everything, rosacea,
Right.
like W.C. Fields. I said,
Yeah.
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 So anyway, they were my bosses, and they called me Gomer all the time because I was just like Gomer Pyle. They said my real name's Kravitz. They said you've heard of. You would call me Gomer Kravitz. They said, you've heard of Gomer Pyle USMC? That's Gomer Kravitz USMF.
Oh my goodness.
So Gomer Pyle, Gomer Pyle, a lot of people don't know this about Gomer Pyle. I guess he started off as a singer. I don't know
Right.
anything about him before the Andy Griffith Show. People think he was on the Andy Griffith Show all the time, but he's only
Right.
on like about 5 or 6 episodes.
Right.
But he made such an impression that they said we got to create his own show for
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
So they made a show where he's in the military, he's in the Marine Corps.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize at the time that the Marines were the toughest guys. I thought, there's the Army and the Navy. I
Yes.
knew the Navy were in the water with
Yes.
ships, and the Army was on land. But the Navy has pilots,
Right.
and the Air Force has pilots. The Marines, I don't know what. The Marines, I found out, were part of the Navy. But he was in the Marines, and during the whole run of the show, they never mention that he is in the. They never mentioned the whole run of the show that he is in the Vietnam War or anything. They never mentioned that at all.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling he was so stupid, the character, that he was planning some sort of, had some scheme that if I show myself to be so incompetent
Yeah.
as a Marine, they won't dare send me to Vietnam. And that's how it worked out.
I felt like the show, like he's kind of like he's bullied from high school.
Yeah.
Like when the Gomer Pyle was in the Army.
Well,
I think.
yeah, he
And then
probably.
he had the normal, all the cool guys. The
Yeah.
normal guys were kind of like bullying him, kind of.
Yeah. Well, people I know who've been in the military, they always tell me, like in the case of Gomer Pyle,
Right.
that there's always a guy there that's just like Gomer Pyle in the boot camp, and he just doesn't have a clue what to do. He's just incompetent. He's constantly screwing up and laughing and
Yeah.
and being a bonehead.
Yeah.
and then you kind of want that guy because if you don't know who that guy is, then it's you.
Right.
So you kind of you want the sergeant and everyone to pick on that guy rather than the rest of y'all.
Right.
So you kind of want. There's always a guy like Gomer Pyle in there.
Right.
So my mom would tell me all the stuff about the Army and stuff. She said, you can't eat hot dogs. I know you like hot dogs. They don't serve hot dogs in the military. They'll throw a can of beans at you, and they'll give you a short haircut, a flat top, and the toilets, they don't have doors on them. You just have to go in front of everybody else, and you don't have any privacy. And then that new kid that said, I want to join the Army. I said, really?
Oh, hell no.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to anything. They haven't really presented it to me as something I want to do after telling me that.
Because I wouldn't join the Army either.
Yeah.
And one time, I want to tell you something about the Army, okay?
Yeah.
One time, the first thing I want to tell you is they used to send me a lot of crap in the mail.
Yes.
Saying, would you like to join the Army? You should join the Army. And there's so many. There used to be the Army people, actual Army people that used to come to my work, asking me, keep pressuring me to join the Army. I'm like, hell no.
They would.
Yeah.
They need a few good women.
Well, I'm like, I'm not the one, so.
Yeah. They never really put the full press on me. I guess they knew right from the get-go I wasn't their kind of people.
Right.
But I always heard, like, when I was, especially by my parents, because they'll make a man out of you. You should join the Army. Because if you wind up in jail, like they recruit in the jails and all. I do know, and this is very serious, that you always hear about these guys that don't do well in the Army, and you find out they don't do well anywhere. They were like arrested for like stealing cars or something, and maybe in small towns, and then the sheriff or the judge basically gave them a choice: join the Army or go to jail. Well, I mean, nobody wants to go to jail.
Right.
Maybe those guys probably deserve to be in jail.
Right. I also want to tell you something else about it. My uncle. One of my uncles used to be in the Army in Hawaii. He was stationed in Hawaii many years ago. Yeah. Back in late 1980s. Yeah. And my grandfather used to tell me the story about he used to call my grandfather because he wanted out of the Army.
Yes.
And
they used to not let you leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Then my grandfather was like, "Well, his name was my uncle's name was Rodney, but my grandfather was like, Rodney, I can't really do that. Yeah. Because you're stuck in it.
You're stuck.
But all of a sudden, he just got out. I don't know how he did. Maybe he just
screwed up so bad. I'm going to take this whole place with me.
I don't know how he got out. Maybe he just finished it, or maybe he, found somehow to quit or something. I don't know.
Now, we're just joking about the military. A lot of military people in my family. I mean, active military. And I think the military are the only heroes I have. And if Gomer Pyle was in the Marine Corps, that's great. In fact, Gomer Pyle, the real life guy Jim Nabors is gay.
Yeah.
And
he had his own variety show too.
Yeah, he had a variety show. There's all these rumors about him being married to Rock Hudson before we found out about Rock Hudson in the 80s. It was very upsetting. Right. He never gave any. I guess it was in interviews that he would never be interviewed about being gay or any questions about it. So, and he was actually pretty good on talk shows, Jim Nabors. And a friend of mine actually ran into Jim Nabors after he was in Richmond doing a concert. He was at a restaurant just eating by himself. He went up to the table and started talking to him. He said he was very nice, and he seemed like a nice guy. He died. He was like 82, I think, when he died. A year before he died, he got married to his longtime boyfriend. Yeah. So that right. So yeah, I guess he was gay, but he's it didn't seem to bother him. He never tried to deny it and everything. So I always feel that he. But the joke I was going to make. I'll make now was that he was in the Marines when they didn't allow gays in the military. Yeah. And I always believed there should be gays in the military even at that time. because look at the great Gomer Pyle.
Yeah.
You had Klinger from MASH.
Yeah.
you had a lot of people. My dad was in the Army, and he told me that all those rules. He was in World War II, and all those rules that we won't take this guy, we won't take in those days a gay man, we won't take this type of guy, we won't take short guys, we won't take tall guys, we won't take fat guys. They'll take everybody during wartime. It's very hard not to be drafted.
Yeah.
During wartime, they want everybody.
Right.
So I mean, you have to. I mean, you hear stories, people like being up for like 3 days straight, so they would have irregular heartbeats just for the physical.
Right. Right.
So, but they still took it. They still took it even then. Like, here's a couple of aspirin. Have a nice sleep, and we'll wake you up when you wake up. We'll take it.
Right.
get on the bus.
Right.
But anyway, so he was this. When Jim Nabors was on, he actually, I guess he was a little known singer at the time.
Yeah.
And Andy Griffith took a shine to him and cast him on a show.
Yeah.
And he said before the first day of shoot, like within the first scene he was going to be in, he actually, I think, said quietly to Andy Griffith, he goes, "You're going to have to help me." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "I've never acted before." And here he is on a major TV show.
Yeah.
And he did well. And he did very well. And then he had his own show and then did very well with that. He was a very great entertainer, fine singer. He was a very good.
I like him, though.
He was a very he had that southern accent. He was from Alabama.
Alabama, I think?
He was from Alabama.
Yeah.
And he was a he was a Roman Catholic from gay and from Alabama, and which is, I guess, kind of different anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess, when you want to be in show business, you want to be different from everyone else, and I guess that kind of made him different from everyone else.
Right.
We never had any tint of scandal about him or anything. He, other than those awful rumors, and what else? Jim Nabors was, Jim Nabors, he had an operatic voice, but he, I don't think he ever sang opera, but he probably would have done very well. He was like a baritone, I think.
Right.
And you see him on, he had another show, now that I think about it. He had a kids show, Far Out Space Nuts.
Yeah.
No, it was a show with Ruth Buzzy. It wasn't Far Out Space Nuts. It was one of those Sid and Marty Krofft shows about outer space. And it was a very funny show as a kid when I saw it. But that was long after Danny Griffith and the Jim Nabors show. Yeah.
I have that album based on the variety show.
Yeah, the variety show lasted 1 year. He had the actor who played Sergeant Carter, Frank Sutton, and he also had the actor who played his friend Duke, Ronnie Shell, on it. And then they actually have run it recently on, I think, MeTV or something, or Get TV, and it was it was a fine show. He was on Carol Burnett a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he also had the Jackson 5 on it too.
Jackson 5. Well, he was, I think, famously the first guest, like a good luck charm for Carol Burnett. She was on for like 10 years, and he was the first guest on every He was the first guest each year, and he's probably on quite a bit. He was always pretty good, Jim Nabors.
Right.
And so I don't remember having any of his albums, but he would sing, like nice ballads and everything.
Yeah.
I remember there was a movie called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. He was a friend of Burt Reynolds, and it had all these singers in it.
Yeah.
And Jim Nabors is an actor in it, but no singing.
Ah.
The best, other than Dolly, the best singer in that movie did not sing.
Right.
Dom DeLuise and Charles Durning and other people sing.
Right.
I never got to see Jim Nabors, but he would have been. I always enjoyed his work. Now, the Monkees was another show I watched as a kid.
Yes.
And my cousin Carl and my cousins Carl and Michael came to visit, and they back in the mid '60s, and they said, "You going to watch TV tonight?" And he goes. I said, "Yeah, we watch TV every night, and usually cartoons or the Flintstones or something, Romper Room, kiddie shows." And so he said, "You want to watch the Monkees tonight?" And I said, I don't want to watch a show about monkeys. I don't really care for monkeys very much. He said, no, these aren't real monkeys. This is a band, a rock and roll band called the Monkees. And I said, my parents hated rock and roll, and we only listened to the alphabet song and songs like nursery rhymes, Mother Goose, and this. We don't really like rock and roll. I was talking on behalf of my family. We don't really listen to rock and roll in this house. 5-year-old kid. And he said, no. This is a comedy show. And it's about a rock and roll band, but it's more of a comedy show. And I think you'll like it. So okay, we'll watch it. So we watched it, and it was the funniest show I had ever seen. And I told my mom and dad, starting now, Mondays, 7:30, NBC, we're watching the Monkees every week. And we did. And it was wonderful. And the Monkees were... it was a great show, and the music was good, and I bought the cards and the lunchbox. I had everything Monkees. Monkees were my favorite, and but a friend of mine said, you gotta if you really like the Monkees, if you like the Monkees, you're really gonna love the Beatles, because that's where they're derived from.
Yes.
Now, and basically, I found out years later that the Monkees were created on purpose to counteract the Beatles.
Yeah.
Which were their own band, really. Mm-hmm. And they made 2 movies. Remember the movies?
Hard Day's Night and Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah.
And
well, they made a few movies, but the ones I was thinking, were Hard Day's Night.
Right.
And Help. And I saw them on television around the time I was watching the Monkees.
Right.
And I didn't really know a whole lot about the Beatles. I mean, I knew who they were, and they seemed all right. But I kind of felt when I was watching those movies on television that they were ripping off the Monkees. It was the other way around.
Yeah.
But when you're a little kid, you just, whatever you saw first is what they...
Yeah.
And the Monkees were, I remember the Monkees, like they would play songs. I would see this in the Beatles movie.
Right.
Hard Day's Night and Help.
Right.
Where they would, a song would be playing, and then they'd do all this running around and making fun at the camera and all this stuff. And that's what they did on the Monkees. And the Monkees were basically a movie version, a TV version of A Hard Day's Night with American actors.
Right.
I saw the Monkees when they, one guy never toured with them was Mike, so I only saw the other 3.
Yeah.
And they, so I saw, they performed all their songs. And what's weird is when you saw them live in concert, you always heard these things about the Monkees that they didn't really play their instruments, They sang, but they didn't play their instruments. Anyone could sing.
Yeah.
But the way it worked was Mike and Peter was a pretty good drummer, and Mike was actually a musician who had a sense of humor and comedy styling. But the other 2 guys were basically just actors.
Right.
But then, as time went on, they learned to play instruments, and then by the time you saw them, I think it was in the 1990s when they made a tour in America. I mean, when I saw them, they had been touring before. They could play their instruments. They had a big band behind them to take up the slack, but they sang all their songs. They began the show with the song "Take the Last Train to Clarksville."
Oh yeah.
And then they sang everything else, and then they had they have like a lot of concerts. They have what's that at the end of a concert? A encore.
Yeah.
And their encore was the song everyone was wanting to hear.
I'm
a Believer.
Oh yeah.
Neil Diamond's song.
And then I saw your face, and I'm a believer.
Oh, wasn't that a good song?
What a chance. You down in my mind.
My dad, I had, in fact, that was my favorite Monkees song, and I was just playing it over and over again. I got the record off the back of a box of cereal, and I was playing it over and over again. and my dad said, I'm tired of it, listening to that awful song. I'm a believer, I'm a believer, I'm a believer. He didn't realize that years later, I mean, I didn't know this either, but years later I found out the song was written by Neil Diamond.
Right.
And Neil Diamond
Yeah.
Eventually recorded, I think, on one of his albums,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a big hit. It was just one of his songs. But
Right.
but he wrote the song "I'm a Believer," and it sounds like a Neil Diamond song, kind of. And I saw her face. I'm a believer. That's how he sings every song.
Yeah.
The Monkees had a good version of "I'm a Believer," but a lot of songs by Neil Diamond. He's a great songwriter. I'll tell you why he's a great songwriter. Because every song he sings that he wrote, it's like the best version of that song. Even if a better singer like Elvis or Frank Sinatra sings one of his songs, they don't sing it as well as Neil Diamond sings it.
Right.
They try to sing it more like Neil Diamond, and it doesn't really work for them.
Yeah.
When I saw Neil Diamond, he was the first concert I ever went to at the Coliseum, Richmond Coliseum. He began the show with Desiree, and I think the last song he sang was Song Sung Blue. This is before he made the Jazz Singer, and he had a lot of hits after that.
I love the Jazz Singer.
Yeah, the Jazz Singer's great.
I have the theme. I have.
The album. There's like about 5 hit songs on that
Yeah.
album. In fact, that movie. Whether you like the movie or not, that movie is a good example of just listening to those songs.
Yeah.
So anyway, what happened was I really enjoyed Neil Diamond's show. He, of course, and then I thought all music should be this good.
Right.
And now he doesn't travel anymore. Sadly, he has Parkinson's disease, but he still, I think, is recording albums. He has a new album coming out.
Right.
New songs, and he's almost 80 years old. But he does, I think he's like 78 or something. I don't know how old he is, but he's up there. But he says that it's Parkinson's disease. He says he doesn't have the strength to perform, night after night, but he could record an album and you could still get the stuff out. Yeah.
And you know who else also has Parkinson's disease? Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah, Linda Ronstadt showed up for the Kennedy Center honor, but she didn't, but she won't sing anymore. It's sad.
That's sad. Yeah.
She won't even. I don't even know if she.
Linda Ronstadt.
Well, Linda Ronstadt, had a good. Linda Ronstadt had all different types of stuff. We'll talk about. Do you have any Linda Ronstadt albums?
I have some. Yes.
I have about a few, and we should talk about her next time. Bring out and we'll talk. We usually talk about record albums you have, so we'll talk about Linda.
Yes.
And so Neil Diamond, he sadly doesn't record anymore, and Neil Diamond, I'm looking forward to his next album. I was the Jewish Elvis, they call him.
I also have some Neil Diamond too.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
And so the Monkees had that song, and I was just thinking about it. I saw the Monkees, and then and since I've seen the Monkees, there's 2 more of the Beatles. Ringo, two living Beatles, Ringo and Paul, and I've seen them both.
Right.
And since 2 of the Monkees are gone and 2 of the Beatles are gone, I think they should combine and collaborate and make a whole new band. I mean, they need. They don't have a drum. The Monkees don't have a drum anymore. There's Ringo.
I would call it the Munkles.
The Munkles.
Well, I mean, take the Beatles versus the Monkees. Do it all together. It will be the Munkles.
The Munkles. That's what they go. A monkey's uncle. The monkey uncle. The Munkles. There was a time I think they tried to create a new Monkees band that just didn't. I think they even cast the people. Nobody cared.
We just
want the originals.
Yeah, just like the group Abba. The disco group back in the 70s. They years later they made like a teenage group called the 18s. And I don't know if they did good or not, but I thought they sounded good.
And they sang the same ABBA song?
Yeah, the same ABBA song.
Oh, okay. Well, they were trying to keep them going. ABBA, it's very important with ABBA. We'll talk about ABBA again, but, ABBA, they were 2 married couples who both divorced eventually, but they still, for many years, continued to sing because they were such
might as well stay married.
I mean, they were, the goose that laid the golden eggs, which was their music career. Yeah. They did not want to break that up. So we'll talk about that. From Sweden.
Yeah.
And what else? And we're almost at St. Patrick's Day. And,
yes. and Easter and
Easter.
my birthday.
I forgot all about Easter. And
your birthday and my birthday. And my birthday's in
every
May.
year I have a birthday. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, me too. My birthday's in May.
May, yeah.
And yours is in April.
I don't want a barrage of gifts and expensive jewelry coming my way. So I have to I have to be humble about that. Anyway, what a show.
Yeah,
what a great show.
Great. And I want to thank you all for tuning in, as usual.
My name is Kaye Lazar, and this is the lovely Mary Elizabeth. Welcome to the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour.
God bless you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. See you in the next show. Love you all.